Jordanov as a forward-type ruckman who will spend a lot more time forward potentially this afternoon as a big marking target. Ben Power might go forward a little bit to try and stretch that Ringwood defence, those two. So that might be what he's hinting at there, that they're going to be the replacement key focal target this afternoon for Trent Farmer.
Well, Jordanov's going to be a massive one. He kicked 9 last week in the reserves after being out for 10 weeks or so, I think he mentioned before the game. So it's definitely going to be interesting, but I think Farmer, obviously, it's a massive out, and the captain as well. He's the one that leads them on the field, so it'll be interesting to see how they go today.
Well, we're almost ready to kick off here. We're going to be a bit ahead of schedule here. It's only 2:05, but why not get this game of footy underway? It's a cracking day out here at Scoresby Recreation Reserve. Second versus first. The Redbacks yet to lose this year. Scoresby only 2. Take it away, Damien Watson.
Top of the table encounter at Scoresby Recreation Reserve, and winning the tap for the Redbacks is Power, who forced it down to ground level. A couple of players link up with the hand pass, and Stephen Brown sends a spearing ball inside 50. Went through the hands of his intended target, and Scoresby have the numbers at the back to defend valiantly through Richards. He looks out wide and finds Matty Krawczyk, who looks for the overlap hand pass on centre wing. A long ball is sent towards left half forward, really no target, and it falls out of play right on the forward 50. And it's going to be a Ringwood free kick out of the full to be taken there by, of course, Anthony McCann.
I think we picked it right there. I mean, Ringwood's first foray forward, Daniel Jordanov, the lead-up marking target there, so he's obviously going to be the man they've identified to fill that void.
McCann looks across his defensive goal face, and the mark has been taken by Scotty Lang. Shares a last name with Robbie Lang, a well-known trainer here in Victoria in the horsing game. Over the top, McConnon.
Bit of Bruce McAvaney about those facts there, Damo.
Interesting there, Scotty Lang. He lined up. He didn't have an opponent at that centre bounce, so I couldn't quite see if they were the one that enforced that extra man in defence or whether that was Scoresby.
So we're going to have it tossed in inside the Scoresby forward 50. Williams going at it with Power. Power won it down. It's got out of there by Blythe. He's kicked down centre wing. It's buzzing around in there. There's a few numbers going through it. No free kick for holding on as the handball comes out through McConnon. It's in the direction of Chadwick. He misses it, and it's socket away in the path of Mitchell Jackson for the Redbacks. He's taken high, and he'll get a free kick there. Umpire Sully says that was over the shoulder. Mitchell Jackson gets a chance to foray forward now for the Redbacks. Goes across the ground looking for, but he couldn't find his intended target there in Lucas because Dale Hare took a one-handed mark and goes long inside forward 50. He's found Williams. Williams plays on, runs to an open goal. And we're away. The Magpies get there first. We've got 2 minutes here on the Betting Go Mag scoreboard, and the Scoresby Magpies have kicked the opening goal of the game.
They're going to be disappointed there, Ringwood, because the man I spoke of, Lang, who lined up on his own at that first centre bounce, he was out in the middle, but he didn't quite look at the player. Couldn't quite see who had the free
Mitchell
kick.
Jackson had the ball there.
Didn't have the vision to go straight away and couldn't get that kick and clear and kick, and we saw what happened when the turnover straight into an open goal.
Something very evident early as well. Scoresby are trying to own the corridor and push Ringwood out wide. So although Ringwood are flooding numbers back at nearly every player in the Scoresby half of the ground, then they forced them to go wide, which caused the turnover with Hare able to intercept a mark and send the ball forward to Williams, who's gold.
Oh, here was no tortoise. He was lightning quick with that one-hander back in the middle. Tap one by Diezzo. Forced to ground, and number of players, a bevy of players on top of the ball, will have a secondary bounce in the middle.
Channeling both Bruce and Dennis in these early stages, Damien.
Wouldn't say I'm anywhere near as good as those two. Chadwick was at the bottom of the pack, and he'll run away here. The umpire's blown the whistle, and a free kick going back to the centre, and the recipient is Ben Power for the Redbacks, who sends a long probing ball inside the 52 on one at the back. Is that going to be paid there to Jordanov? No, according to the umpire, and I think we're going to have a bounce. It's a difficult one to pick on the replay. Umpire Sully on the spot.
Didn't have first hands on him, I think the umpires said.
So good officiating. We're set in motion once again. Jordanov won the tap, but it's a Scoresby free kick deep in their defensive zone. And the recipient looks as if it'll be Diezzo. It looks out wide. It's a tumbling punt. Didn't really find a target. It's going to come back the other way through Jesse Owen. Looks into the pocket. No one home for the Redbacks, however, and we'll head boundary side.
Yeah, boys, just confirming that one change. Of course, Trent Farmer is out for Ringwood. Dylan Blackburn is in on the starting bench for Ringwood. Blackburn, Burmester, also Dyte and Shambrook starting on the bench.
Yeah, and it's out here on centre wing now for the Magpies after a bit of fancy footwork in the middle there. A little volley on centre wing there, Tim. Not sure what's happening on there, but we're going to have a ball up as Ben Power nominates the ruck. He might go unopposed here. For the Magpies, no, Daniel Diezzo comes in. So centre wing right in front of the Scoresby and Ringwood faithfuls. Power wins it down, and getting it forward is Daniel Atwell. It's gone higher than it's gone long, but it's a good run and jump at it there by Mitchell Jacobs. He missed it, and it's cleared by Bronquist or Milligan, I believe. Hare height flies high, couldn't get his hands to it. Slapped away by Tim Wack. D'Esso takes it on, got his handball out, and ducking his head there was Blythe, but Lang, sorry. But he's going to get a free kick. Not happy about it, the faithful out here, just to our right as well. Their own grog squad, the Magpies, as Lang goes short to Stephen Brown.
Ringwood being forced wide once again.
Owning that corridor. And, well, not only forced wide, but forced to kick it straight in the man of the mark. Hare's gone straight through him there with a forearm. And the umpires have let it slide. But he did get the smother. It's poor ball use from Stephen Brown there for the Redbacks.
Two very poor ball use there early from Ringwood.
Cross down to BWS on the boundary line.
Breeze has picked up a little bit in the first 5 minutes since we walked across the ground here, guys. It's going down the way that Scoresby's kicking at the moment. More across the ground, heading towards the Caravan, so left forward pocket, but definitely a 1 to 2 goal advantage, I see it as.
Almost looked like the throw from D'Esso from that ruck contest. In any case, Duncan sends it wide and will be over the boundary line. Just inside the attacking 50 for the Scoresby Footy Club. There, 1 straight 6. Ringwood are yet to score. Perfect conditions for footy. 5 minutes into this first term. Top temperature of around 18 degrees today. Certainly higher than average as far as late July weather in Melbourne. The bottom of the pack there is Jackson. Couldn't quite get an effective disposal away. And a tackle is effective for the Magpies by Wade McConnell. Will have a bounce 45 out from the Maggies' goal.
If we put in about 2,000 more people, Damo, this would almost be a final.
Well, it does have that atmosphere, doesn't it? Trying to break away from the pack there is Brown. Unsuccessful on that occasion, and another ball up in shoes.
Good forward pressure here from Scoresby, locking the ball in their forward half.
So power to go up against Williams. He's got about a foot on him, and he wins that tap. Getting the handball out of there was Grierson, and he found its way to Atwell, who kicks through the centre again. But like you said, the Magpies owning it there, and it's a mark taken by Joel Thompson. So Thompson goes wide and finds his target out there in Bronquist. Or Geese, sorry, and he's drilling ball looking for Williams. He got one hand to it, and it's come out to Mitchell Walker, who snaps to the top of the square. Paravicini's there, and he plugs it. Great mark from Jack Paravicini, sorry, who had a bit of traction there on social media during the week. Frosty, when it was found out Scoresby and Ringwood was the game of the week, everyone was a bit interested. His mate's tagging in it. He's kicked his first. He said he had to kick a goal, Damo, and he's kicked it right now on the big screen. We've gone 7 minutes, and there's that 2-goal wind advantage. It Scoresby 2 goals straight. Ringwood yet to score.
Pete, you spoke pre-game about Scoresby's ball use and how they like to move it by foot, which is contrast to what we saw Baroni do against Ringwood, and they got touched up early in the season, and it's looking good for them early, isn't it?
It is, and they've been very good at it so far. But the thing I've been really impressed about is the way they've been able to own that centre corridor. You called it in the call there, Matt. They had a nest of Magpies sitting there, just waiting for Ringwood to try and move the ball back through the middle of the ground. And when they did try and do that, they're able to turn it over and send it back deep in there again. So really smart play here by Scoresby, and it's probably something that Ringwood have done to other sides earlier throughout this year and been caught out by their own game a little bit.
Back in the middle, Scoresby with a good foundation to this game, and they win the clearance again towards centre half forward. The bouncer lose Matty Krawczyk. As a result, Ringwood can try and work it out. It's paddled towards the boundary line on true centre wing. Trying to keep it in play there is Lucas. Swings it round his body for the Redbacks. A tumbling ball. It's a fickle bounce. Looking out the back there is Cal McConnon. He couldn't quite keep it in play, as is Toby Richards, and they see it out 45 out from the Ringwood goal.
We saw this though in the Parker Cup a few weeks ago. Heathmont got the jump on the Redbacks and they clawed their way back into it. So it is in the Ringwood territory now as it's tossed in. Power and D'Esso. Power wins the tap from the back spot and he'll slap it forward again. Atwell should get there first and does. He steps inside the man there in McConnon and goes inside forward 50, but it's going to bounce out in front of Jordanov for a boundary throw in deep in Redbacks territory. They need a goal now just to stem the flow of Scoresby, who have owned the corridor and they've owned the contest at the moment.
Magpies and Redbacks, they're creatures I don't really like, to be honest.
No, I despise Magpies as a creature, but that's an off-air conversation. Damo as Jordanov goes up against D'Esso, wins the tap, and the handball comes out there for a Scoresby player, but bursting through and trying to get through is Burmeister. He found his target in Lucas, who dropped the ball, but the Redbacks continue going. He's just dropped that umpire as Mitchell Jacobs, nothing doing. Going through there was Mitchell Jackson, and his teammates and Scoresby players all sit atop him, and we'll have another stoppage inside the Redbacks forward 50, right forward pocket. It's Scoresby 2 straight 12 goals to Williams and Paravicini. The Redbacks yet to score. So go up again. Good tap here from Hill towards the middle, but Chadwick got the handball out wide, and then they'll exit the 50 through McConnon. The kick goes up, and Lang brings it down to the ground, but they exit again. McConnon there, crumbing again. Heads the handball out to Hare, who's been good early. And his kick's just out in front of Williams, but too far out in front. It's out of bounds on the full. Damien on right half back for the Redbacks.
Good crowd in. Glistening sunshine here at Scoresby Recreation Reserve. The recipient's Greg for Ringwood, who looks towards true centre wing, and that's a good strong mark taken by Declan Hill. Had to contend with a couple of big bodies. Strong hands. Declan Hill looks towards right half forward. No real target. Diving for the football there is Jordanov, who, as Tim Fitzsimons mentioned, kicked 9 goals in the reserves last week. Couldn't take the mark. It's out of play right half forward for the Redbacks.
Yeah, he's a big in this week. It'll really lighten the load on Power, who's had to shoulder pretty much all of the ruck for the whole season really for Ringwood, because he's been out for quite a while, Jordanov.
And won the tap again, taking it away is Mitch Jackson, tumbles it towards full forward, diving on top of the football there is Jordanov, and a plethora of players dive on top of it. Will have a bounce, full forward for Ringwood.
So far, Scoresby have been able to match that tackling pressure that Ringwood have applied to other clubs so far this year. So a really good chalk up mark to the Ringwood, to the Scoresby side so far.
It's 10 metres out from the Redbacks goal. No one can get a clear possession. Quick kick out of the pack, trying to muscle his way through there is Chadwick. Still the ball not really gaining any meterage. The umpire's picked out a free kick, and it looks as if it's going the way of the Magpies. And the recipient is once again that man, Paul Chadwick, and he can clear it from the defensive.
Started well as Paul Chadwick with that distinctive sort of head shape and beard, and it's going back in though. His kick's gone straight into the hands of Cairns, and his long kick at goal, it's kept in by Bronquist there, and McConnell clears off the line, and the Magpies avoid danger, and it's out wide to Joel Thompson, who marks in the left back pocket for the Magpies. He's taking his time, so he's going to have to go long down the line. Chips it up towards his target there in Jared Hicks, but he couldn't get there, and it's punched away by Atwell. Handball inboard from Cairns, and it's knocked around. Jumping on top of Toby Richards was, and looks like Lucas, and there could be a bit of a to-do here. Toby Richards wants a piece. Nothing wrong with that. He's just jumped in on a tackle.
You mentioned that
just
pressure.
a bit of testosterone flowing there, Tim.
You mentioned that pressure before, Peyton. It's really showing. Both sides a bit fumbly in the contest early.
Well, Ringwood would want to scrap it up quickly as Power wins that tap down towards Jackson, who's been prominent, and driving through hard there was Michael Greason. No free kick
boundary
either way, and we're going to cross down the boundary side.
Interesting to see Jordanov is playing as the deepest forward for Ringwood, of course, with Trent Farmer not there, and he's got Owen Chadwick for company this afternoon.
So Chadwick locking down on Jordanov, who's kicked 9 last week. It's Paul Chadwick this time, handballing it out wide, looking for, and he did find his target. I don't know if it's deliberate. He probably should have picked it up though there, the runner in Mitchell Walker for the Magpies. But we're going to have a boundary thrown on centre wing here at Scoresby Recreation Reserve.
So great atmosphere, a lot of spectators watching from the boot of their car. Of course, the back door open. Wouldn't want it to be closed in that situation. We'll have a throw in.
Bit stuffy.
True centre wing position. Tap one. And the hand pass comes out for the Magpies by Ryan Hicks. They work it inside 50. Falls into the arms of Nathan Hicks, who shoots towards goal. It's hit the woodwork. And only a minor score. So the first blemish on the board for Scoresby there, 2-1-13. Ringwood yet to score. 12 minutes in first turn. Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Who's going to bring this ball back in here? Could be an important job, the kick-out duties. It's going to be Anthony McCann, whose ball use has been a bit iffy so far today. Goes long down the line. Running and jumping at it was Walker, and he missed it. Now they're away through. It looks like Dylan Blackburn, the former Blackburn player, ball-in player, is back into the side for Trent Farmer. He's got it to Harry George on centre wing, who got around his opponent just and kicks down the line. It's going to come down in the hands now of Burmeister, off Mitch Farmer, sorry, who goes inside forward 50. There's Jordanov, 9 last week, 1 this week. 13 minutes gone, Scoresby still lead. They're 2-1-13, but Daniel Jordanov has kicked the Redbacks first of the day there. 1 straight 6, and he's 8 shy of last week's tally, Tim.
Yeah, it's still a long way to go, though. We never know how it could end up. But their ball use along the wing here.
It was quicker, wasn't it?
It was. We saw early they missed their targets, and they were turning the ball over, allowing Scoresby to apply that pressure, but the elite ball use along the wing there didn't allow them to get a look in.
That's the first time for this afternoon we've seen any fluidity with their ball movement.
End
like
to end, wasn't it?
That's
Coast to
right.
coast.
And it's the first time we've really seen that slingshot style of footy that Ringwood have been made characteristic this season.
Scoresby were caught napping in defence on that occasion. Ringwood, first major of the afternoon. That'll ease their confidence. Back in the middle. Once again, that man, Ben Power, winning the tap for the Redbacks. He's superior in height. Coming through there is Mitch Farmer. Gets the hand pass out to Burmeister on the left foot. Looks towards left half forward. Picking up the loose ball is George. Weaves his way through. Gives it out to Dyke, who dribbles it through for a goal. How about that one? Improvisation at its best. And Ringwood have got 2 in a minute. They're 2 straight 12. Scoresby 2-1-13. A cracking contest 14 minutes in on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Oh, fantastic awareness then of where the goals are from Justin Dyke. Just put it on the outside of the boot and dribbled it through. Fantastic goal sense.
Yeah, we saw that the fast break clearance from Ringwood, it really makes a difference, not allowing Scoresby to apply that pressure. Exactly.
They didn't let him set up.
Exactly.
So a minute ago again, all of a sudden, that 2-goal breeze has been nullified, and it's only 1 point the difference. Hugo Morgan tosses it up in the middle here as Hicks and Power do battle. Hicks wins that tap down towards Chadwick. We've said those names a few times over the years. Coming through again was Hicks. Jared this time, of course. He dropped the footy, bursting through, trying to get out of there. He's slung afterwards there, and he's going to get a free kick here, is Michael Greason. He was swung down by Bradley Jones. So Greason's left foot kick isn't the best off the boot, but it'll find Blythe out there. He's just got hair covering all parts of his head. All the way down. He kicks inboard looking for it. Well, it missed its target, but it looks like Farmer's going to do well, and he does. Gets his handball back towards Greason. Oh, he came through, caught one high from Chadwick. Nothing doing. And it's holding the ball.
Terrific
and
tackle.
let him know all about it as well.
The first one could have been high, but Nathan Hicks is going to get a 25-metre penalty here. So I thought the first one was a bit high from Chadwick, but Hicks wrapped him up straight after that, holding the ball against Greason. I'm not sure what the 25 was for.
It was really just the double team there, wasn't it? The bump to set him up, and then the crunching tackle.
It was a bloody hard bump, I'll tell you that much. So Nathan Hicks now, from just inside the arc, he's got the distance easily, and he's got a goal. So Scoresby reply. We've gone 16 minutes here in this first quarter. It's looking like a cracking game. The Scoresby Magpies are 3-1-19, leading the undefeated Ringwood Redbacks 2 straight 12.
I know he hit the post from general play earlier, but I reckon he's one of the most reliable set shots in the Eastern Football League, Nathan Hicks. Does not miss many from a standing start like that.
Cross down.
It's their boundary side. Ben Warren-Smith.
I think umpire Damien Sully was a bit generous with that 25 as well. He was copping a bit of lip for that 25 to begin with, so I reckon he just poked him inside forward 50 a little bit.
It was 35, Ben.
Yeah, something like that. 12 interchanges for Scoresby halfway through this first term, and only 6 to Ringwood. Matty Crawsey's come back onto the ground, and he's playing across the centre half forward line.
Conserving the energy. It's a ripping contest so far at Scoresby Recreation Reserve. The Redbacks try to win the clearance, and it's hacked out of the pack by Burmeister. Only as far, however, as Adam Brodsgeest, who marks it at centre half back. He looks towards the outer wing. Taking it on the bounce there is Matty Krawczyk. Weaves his way away from a couple of would-be tacklers. Hand pass comes out. Loose ball in the direction there of Jared Hicks. They're working well, the Hicks brothers, so far in this game. The Maggies go inside 50. Diving up for the ball is here. Did he get a nudge in the back? Yes, he did, according to umpire Sully. And he can go back and have a shot from about 40 metres out on a very acute angle.
Yeah, just quick ball movement once again there from Scoresby. They're able to transition the ball into their forward line very smartly, and their foot skills are really good this season, and that's probably been a trademark of theirs.
And Brett Rowe won't be happy. Ringwood able to get 2 quick goals, and then giving Scoresby the run back with a 25-metre penalty, and now giving away another free kick for a shot at goal, albeit it's going to be a pretty tough shot.
Well, Dale here, I believe he's kicked 10 goals in the last 2 games. Matches his jumper number. Right on the boundary line. This will test him. Can he stand up to it? Not quite. Only a minus score. So Scoresby move on to 3-2-20. They lead Ringwood 2 straight 12. 17.5 gone first term. Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
He's a fantastic player, is Dale Hare. And Anthony McCann's going to bring it in for the Redbacks. They got their first goal coast to coast. And he looks like he's going to go the same avenue. Long down the line. Couple of flyers, but only one got a fist to it.
Got it.
Was Adam Bronsgeest who whacked it over the boundary line on the full and nullified any chance of another coast-to-coast there for the Redbacks. So thrown in right in front of us here on the Scoresby half-forward flank.
Ringwood will nearly need to watch Paul Chadwick at this contest.
Yeah.
He's been really dominant around these stoppages.
Hasn't he? That vibrant beard of his as the SEO goes up against Jordanov. The SEO wins it down. There is your man Chadwick. Got it out to Hicks. Hicks goes inside 50 looking for Hare. It's going to fall out the back. Nathan Hicks off the ground. Goal! Innovative. Hicks to Hicks. And Scoresby have their fourth, his second. Scoresby 4-2-26, Ringwood 2 straight 12, 18.5 minutes gone. And Peter Baird, you said watch out for Paul Chadwick, and guess who got it?
He was just so strong. He's so strong at the stoppages, and if you give him a clear run at the contest like they did on that situation, then he's going to win the stoppage and clear the ball out, and that really sets Scoresby up. So it's something that Brett Rose is really going to need to be focused on. You put a block on him or whatever you have to do, you can't let him get momentum, hit the ball with momentum around a stoppage.
He's really stepping up with the players Scoresby have out today around the ball. It's massive that he plays a good game today.
So Scoresby with a handy little buffer here, late in this first term, approaching time on. And the confidence is growing. Diezzo won the tap for the Magpies, only as far, however, at ground level as Burmeister. Did he cop one high? He did, according to the umpire. He can take the free from the centre of the ground. Burmeister looks laterally out wide, finds a free player in Blythe. Stopped on his mark, he's 70 metres from home, chips the pass to centre half forward. It was an easy option in the end. Loose checking from the Scoresby defence, and the mark's taken by Jordanov, who's in good form, looks into the pocket. Numbers favour Scoresby out wide. Big crunch, hand pass comes out for the Magpies by McCotton, and they can clear it temporarily at least. Meeting the ball on the bounce there is McCann, who sends it, or tried to send it back in. It's gone up in the air and out on the full. It'll be a Scoresby free kick deep in their defensive zone.
Just panicked a little bit. They'd had a bit more time than what he realised and should have put it back to the hot spot rather than just throw the ball onto the boot.
We've seen a few kicks go out in the full on this side of the ground as well. We heard BWS talk about that breeze across this side of the ground.
So we're almost ticked into time on here as Adam Bronx-Geist goes down the line looking for Nathan Hicks. It's gone over the head of Scott Lang, who had the height advantage on everyone. And picking up and wrapped up straight away is Mitchell Walker. And there is that flag just crisply in the wind there, going right across this side of the ground. So D'Essio wins the tap against Jordanov, and coming through there quickly was Milligan. Milligan's kick went nowhere, and Scott Duncan sweeps up and gives it to Bronx-Geist, who just whacks it on the boot. Here's one floating towards the boundary line. Blythe's in the clear and takes the mark right in front of the Scoresby faithful. And he just runs around onto that trusty left boot and goes straight into the centre. It's a big switch, and it's a great kick. It's found his target there in Stephen Brown. No free kick for the shove. He probably played up on it a bit. So he's on the cricket pitch. He's going to go long. It's just bit off this. Oh, he's absolutely sliced that. He has not meant that at all. That is, I've seen that happen a few times off the golf tee. I'm not a golfer, Tim, but I'll tell you what, I've seen that happen before. So boundary throw in right half forward for the Ringwood Redbacks.
It's a big outside edge for a left-hander over the fly slip.
Yeah, that's ran away for 4.
Quick ground out here today as well.
It's a good outfield, isn't it? Tap one for the Magpies by D'Essio, and they're on the clear once again. Hicks looks towards centre half forward. No mark taken. Loose ball at the back. Claimed there as McCann. Nothing doing from the umpire. We'll have a bounce on the half-forward line.
A lot of confidence about the young man there, Paravicini. Gave a big, strong tackle and got up and let him know all about it. Like that style footy.
3 umpires out there today. Tap one, Blythe gets the hand pass away. He'll loop it in the direction of his teammate there in Farmer. Couldn't quite take it cleanly. He's nudged off the football by his opponent in Ryle, and we'll see it out. True centre wing position in front of the main grandstand.
He's another player that's come back to the Scoresby Football Club after departing and playing footy at a high level with Roval over the last few seasons.
It really helps having that experience back around the group this year.
It's reflected in their results too so far this season. So the ball in once again. Almost a throw on that occasion. Umpire calls play on Hicks. Tried to loop it over the top. Good smother there by Lang. Forces a turnover. Blythe, the chain of hand passes works out through Lucas. And now into the arms of Jackson at centre field. He can take a bounce. He can go for a run. And kicks a floating ball inside 50 to no one in particular. The bounce was fickle. Almost favoured Power. Couldn't take it. The clearing kick comes out. And Scoresby are away on the outer side. In the arms of Milligan. He couldn't quite take it. And it bounces out of play. Half forward line for Ringwood.
I reckon he spent that before he got it, Tim.
Yeah, and there was a bit going on down here in the Scoresby forward line. A bit of push and shove. Looks to have settled now, but there's definitely a lot of heat in this one.
I was about to say there's a little bit in this one when the ball's at the other end. Big ground. So 3 umpires probably doing a good job here. Make sure nothing untoward happens as D'Essio just gets rid of Jordanov pretty easily. He's got a massive advantage over him in height and size. Burmeister piled through and got a handball, but it's straight to the Scoresby players. Hicks is there, and so is Krojic. But the kick hurried out of there by the Ringwood Redbacks goes straight into the hands of Bradley Jones, who clears from centre half back out towards Callum, and he got it back to Thompson, who chips it over the top. I think he was looking for Milligan, but it's only going to find the hands of Scott Lang, who handballed over the top now, looking for and finding his man, who flicks it forward towards Greason. And then the tackle is laid there by Declan Hill as they take the Scoresby man over the line there. And it's a boundary thrown right in front of the Scoresby bench. Should be pretty happy with their quarters work so far. They lead 4-2-26 to Ringwood 2 straight 12. 23 minutes gone in this first term. Very interesting clash, of course. Ball up, sorry, wasn't even out of the bounds. D'Essio climbs all over the top of Ben Power. Power's going to get a free kick, but the advantage is paid. It looked like it was Farmer or Burmeister bursting away from that pack, and his kick dribbles out of bounds. So we'll have a boundary throw in this time in front of the Ringwood coaching box, Damien.
Yes, and front of the house, Peter Bear, where we used to call from, I think, back in the day. On
the balcony up there, that green place up there with the balcony. He used to sit up there and call from up there.
Lovely residence.
Good view, too, of the ground. You can see the Dandenong Ranges in the background, so ball back into play once again for the boundary throw-in. Tap one at the front there by Jordanov, who contested the ruck for the Redbacks. It's on the Ringwood goal line. Diving on top of the football is Hicks, and they work it out too through Bronze-Geest, and Scoresby can clear towards the main grandstand side and will bounce and trickle over the line once again, about 70 metres around from the Redbacks goal.
It was Chadwick again there, deep in defence, that got the
quite
ball.
A tall midfielder too.
He is, and he's just so strong, a real ball around the stoppages, and that's really showing up for Scoresby at the moment.
Yeah, and Bronze-Geest clearing that ball as well. There's a lot of, he's getting a lot of it down back and really holding strong when Ringwood make an attack.
It's been very steadfast in defence. Power wins the tap for the Redbacks. Blythe crumbs the pack, sharked it well, swings it round his body towards half forward. Good tackle applied there by Hill for the Redbacks, and that's on his Scoresby opponent in Richards. We'll have another bounce, half forward for the Ringwood side.
So two Bald brothers have combined well down there, Chadwick and Brongeese, just flipping it between each other. So we're going to throw it up here, half forward for the Redbacks, slapped away there by Jared Hicks. Blythe, who's been good for the Redbacks so far, probably their best.
He's not bold.
Takes it over the man. No, he's not. He's making up for both of them.
Yeah, he's had plenty of it early.
He's a shoot man, and he's had plenty of the ball. And he's blowing there as well. You can understand why. It's quite warm for those of us who have spent the cold winter months and not travelled to Europe like all of my social media feed. As it's thrown in, Power won the tap down, straight into his opponent's arms in Hicks, and Jackson probably gave a shud to Chadwick there, who got it back to Hicks, the other one, of course. One of the 3 or 4 out there today. Kicked down the line. Lang, who's dropped a couple of those marks, flew in third man up. Nathan Hicks now on hands and knees. Got the handball. It's gone to Sean Lucas, though. Williams came through for the Magpies. Mick picking it up there nicely. It looks like it was Roberts. It's slapped forward in the back. Mark Williams got to be a free kick and does. Gets one here. Just outside the arc here on the left half forward flank for the Scoresby Magpies. Calvin Gregg just came flying into the veterans' back here. So he probably doesn't have the leg from here, I'd suggest. Paravicini and Hare are deep. And he's going to go to the hot spot. Hare's got a good run at this, but he's blocked off. But doesn't matter because the mark's taken. Uncontested, more or less, by Matt Crawshick.
The Doc.
In the long sleeves. One of a few players out there in the long sleeves. And they were so concerned about blocking Dale Hare, Frosty, that they just let the big fella have a run and jump at it.
The seas almost parted for him because they were worried about Hare, and he just came straight through, and it's just landed on his chest, and he'll go back and nail this one and give Scoresby a nice little break heading into quarter time.
Nice buffer, because it was a 2-goal win according to BWS, but this is going to be a 3-goal lead. As Korjic comes in, stabs at it, but doesn't matter, it's there. So that's their 5th, his first. Scoresby 5-2-32, lead the Ringwood Redbacks 2 straight 12. 27 minutes gone here on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Yeah, it's good that they've got this early start. It's always good coming up against a side that hasn't lost a game. It'll give them a lot of confidence going into that first break with a very handy 20-point lead as it stands.
Something Scoresby are also doing, they're triple teaming Ben Power in the ruck. They're rotating Jared Hicks, Mark Williams when it goes forward takes the ruck, and Daniel D'Eso. So 3 players, and Ben Power shouldering the load there for Ringwood. So it might be something to watch out for later in the game.
Yeah, it's interesting that they haven't used Jordanov as much as we
gives
probably
away
would
a
have
fair
thought.
bit of height, though. Gives away a fair bit of height compared to Ben Power and Hicks at the moment.
Yeah, Power was certainly dominant early. So on the cusp of quarter time, it's Scoresby with a handy 20-point buffer, but it's Ringwood with the clearance through Atwell. Didn't really go very far. Good tackle applied, of course, by Declan Hill, and we'll have a bounce.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out late in the game with Power shouldering a lot of the ruck work, especially on a bit of a warmer day like today.
Atwell's kick was smothered. We'll have another stoppage. You get the sense Ringwood might come back, though. They're a classy team.
Yeah, I wouldn't count them out 27 minutes into the game.
Definitely not.
So we're back in motion once again, trying to break away from the pack is Richards, and it's Scoresby with the clearing ball inside 50. One last chance to score a major, but the general back there is Anthony McCann, and he can clear it for the Redbacks on the outer side. He looks towards left half back. That's a good diving mark, almost a somersault there from Stephen Brown. He can weigh up the options, orchestrate an attack. chips them short, and the mark taken there by Scotty Lang.
Just being held up with their ball movement again, which is good.
Lang, they're forced out wide too, the Redbacks. Trying to dive at the top. That's a good mark on the second bite. It has been paid for the Maggies.
Jared Hicks, I think.
Yep. Yes, Jared Hicks knifing over the top. He had two Redbacks to contend with. Spears it towards centre half forward, looking for the target there in Nathan Hicks. Now the umpire's blown the whistle for a push at the back, and it'll be a Hicks free kick.
So Hicks looking for his brothers, found him there, earning the free kick. And once again, I said the best shot in the AFL. I'm going to back him in to put this one through.
Breeze behind him, of course, coming towards the Stamos. He might be hanging out to that right-hand goalpost.
He's about 50 metres out from goal. It's kicked two already. Prodigious run up. Has it got the distance? It's almost got the accuracy.
That's by his own teammate.
Mark Williams just wanting a bit of the spotlight there. Couldn't quite take the mark, and only a minus score. So Scoresby 5-3-33. Lead Ringwood 2 straight 12 on the cusp of quarter time.
He was disappointed there. He had two hands on it. Should have taken the mark.
Should have shepherded it through, Tim.
Oh yeah, you got to go. I think you can't rely on the ball just
harder in that situation.
Yeah, you don't know what's behind you. You got to make the call, and I think the coach would probably be happy that he's at least going for it.
So McCann went short to Lucas, who goes down the line looking for Mitch Farmer, who dropped the mark but got rid of his opponent pretty well. Magpies have it on hands and knees though through McConnon to his brother McConnon, who gave it out wider still to Bradley Jones, who hacks it inside 50. Williams should get there. He doesn't get there first, however. Looks like Lucas. Handball through again, Burmeister got it through to Greg. Calvin Gregg takes on a couple, gave it to Stephen Brown, who ran out of room. And he's been given a high free kick.
Silly free kick there. They had him cornered into that back pocket, and they've given away a free kick. They really
could have been a bit frustrated at his earlier touch behind as Brown goes into the centre of the ground. They're taking it on here, and they move it wider still. It's a nice kick out wide there by Harry George, and it's run out in front of Blythe, who just runs all day. Wanted his left foot. Always wanted his left foot. Little blind turn in there, and then centres the ball. Dropping the mark was McConnon. Handball out of there quickly. Well, was it a handball? Jaden Cairns just slung it forward, but it's short little ball. And is that Jordanov? Could be his second of the day. So the Redbacks just find a way all the time. Jackson got lucky there because McConnon dropped the mark. Cairns got the handball, and then Mitchell Jackson, left foot, opposite boot there. Nice little drop punt onto the chest of Daniel Jordanov, who's lining up for his second.
And it all started from that free kick in the back pocket that didn't need to be given away. It had him cornered, would have been a throw in, about 50 out from their own goals, and now they've looking at a set shot at the other end.
I enjoyed Stephen Brown's risk-taking kick into the centre as well. Quicker ball movement as Jordanov comes in, stabs at it, floats it straight through the middle. So they've got their third, Ringwood, their 3 straight 18. They still trail by 15 points. Scoresby 5-3-33, and we're now ticking into the 31st minute of this first quarter. Damien Watson on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
On track for his match, his target of 9 last week in the reserves, 2 in the first quarter.
He's just short. He's just short of the
target for 8.
Yeah, on target for 8. And as we know, everything just happens like that for forwards, isn't it?
No, that's an important goal for Ringwood though, just to stem the flow a little bit, Tim.
Yeah, exactly. They Scoresby they've really matched it with them early on, and even definitely would have bettered them early on. So it's good that they get that steadier late in this quarter.
Is there time for one last twist? Running it out of the clearance is Chadwick. Looks towards centre half forward. It'll be a free kick going to Ringwood for a high tackle in that contest, and the recipient will be Kelvin Gregg. They're only seconds away, you would feel, from the quarter-time siren. They look laterally to Stephen Brown, the Redbacks, and that's a wide kick out on the full. And the recipient for the Magpies will be Dylan Milligan.
Important kick here, this one.
Have they got time for one last major in this first term? Is there one last chapter for the quarter? Milligan, probing kick inside the 50. The Redbacks have the numbers in the air, and that big man with the big tall presence, Ben Power, takes the mark. He looks out wide, and the Redbacks can slow it down. The mark taken there by Grierson.
So Grierson in the back pocket, swings on left boot, and we've finally finished this first quarter after 32 minutes of hard slog.
We did start early.
We did start early, so we've made up for it. Scoresby 5-3-33 have the lead over the Ringwood Redbacks, 3 straight 18 here at quarter time at Scoresby Recreation Reserve. 2 goals to Nathan Hicks, singles to Mark Williams, Jack Paravicini, Matt Korshik for the Magpies, and 2 goals to Daniel Jordanov and Justin Dyte. As we head to our first break here on EFL Game Day, like I said there, it's the Magpies 5-3-33 leading the Redbacks 3 straight 18.
Decided to